Hey guys, hope you guys are doing great. This is Nate Pennington from RunDreamAchieve.com. If you're brand new to the channel, click on the subscribe button and the bell icons so when I make a new video, you'll be notified of it. Today's video, I wanted to talk about how to run a faster half marathon with less training. There's not really an easy answer to this. You do not get great results by running too many miles too slow. So if anything, if you get beyond thinking that you have to run high mileage to get great results, I think your level of success is going to be much higher. You want to, if anything, in terms of answering this question, my focus would be on training smarter rather than harder. You can run less as opposed to if you're focused more on high mileage and putting in, say, like 80 to 100 miles a week every single week for a 12 to 16 week block of training, you're not always going to get the best results by running higher mileage. Higher mileage doesn't guarantee you success. Smarter training, more of an emphasis on long runs spent at a higher heart rate, running a longer percentage or longer percentage of that long run at a heart rate that's closer to about 85% of your maximum heart rate will definitely improve your body's ability to clear lactic acid, and it's going to improve your lactate tolerance. And that's why athletes that are running well over the half marathon to marathon distance and even the shorter distances are able to sustain that pace for the entire distance, because they've spent not only sufficient amounts of mileage and time at their anaerobic threshold, which is right at the point where we start to build up lactic acid. What they've done is they've trained very sufficiently at that particular effort, and then they've also trained very hard. This is where we talk about VO2 max workouts, where you're doing like repeat, 12 to 14 times 200 meter repetitions on the track at closer to your mile to 3K race pace. Those types of efforts, when you're ramping up your heart rate at above 175 beats a minute, closer to your maximum heart rate, it's really going to help you race better and run more efficiently, more economically over the entire half marathon distance. So, how to run a half marathon by doing less can be achieved, but you have to get beyond thinking that you have to run high mileage. The best results in racing over the half marathon distance are going to come from consistent weeks spent training very high mileage, but mileage that is run too slow and far too relaxed to be able to race and to sustain pace over 13.1 miles. So, some of the things that I really worked on over the years to improve my half marathon from an hour and 10 minutes and 31 seconds down to an hour and 7 minutes and 6 seconds was getting away from quantity and getting more focused on quality training. I was really caught up with high mileage. I got up to as high as 142 miles a week training for the half marathon and marathon distance. And I kept thinking that, man, if I've run 2:19:35 for the distance. All I really need to do to get under 2 hours and 19 minutes is just make a few improvements. I ran 2:19:35 in 2007, finishing fourth and top American at the 2007 California International Marathon. And after I did that, I literally spent a decade after running that time trying to break 2 hours and 19 minutes, which today is still the USA Olympic Trials A standard time. You need to run at a minimum 2 hours and 19 minutes to qualify for the Olympic Trials. So I had to get beyond running high mileage, and I had to get more zeroed in on this type of topic where we're talking about how can I run a half marathon more efficiently and more successfully by training less. You can get better results by training less, but you also have to know that running more mileage and running less mileage, even if you're running too slow for too high of a percentage of your weekly volume, you're not going to get great race results. You have to spend time training at, near, or very far below your goal half marathon race pace. And For me, I was trying to break 2 hours and 22 minutes for the marathon, so I knew I needed to get my half marathon time down to a faster personal best. I had to get better at racing over 13.1 miles to be able to offset, and buffer those last few miles of the marathon distance. So I got beyond running high mileage, and I started lowering my mileage. I ran my best marathon, broke the 2 hour and 20 minute marathon barrier on 90 miles a week. Got away from running up to 120 to 140 miles a week, and started training longer periods of time, longer portions of my long run at a higher percentage of my maximum heart rate. And I started doing really focusing in on progression. You don't just jump onto the track and do 5 to 6 1 mile repeats at your 3K race pace the first week in training. You have to allow your body, sufficient time to, earn those physiological adaptations that you're trying to work toward in your training. So be very patient with yourself when it comes to training well over the half marathon distance. There's great you can get great results training between 12 and 16 weeks. I would recommend doing a 16-week block of training, to really prepare yourself well for racing over the half marathon distance. Get beyond quantity. Start zeroing on quality. Start, reviewing your training, seeing what you've been doing in the previous weeks, previous months, and find out what went wrong, what was going right in your training, but what has caused you not to be able to sustain the pace that you're trying to sustain over the 13.1 mile distance. Are you starting to slow down at 8 to 9 miles in the race? Are you having issues? Is it a mental block? What is it that you are doing on a routine basis that is causing you not to be able to race the distance as fast as you would like? Again, it goes back to what is the pace you're trying to hold over 13.1 miles or 21.1 kilometers, and start training very, very fast. Start training way below that pace, but also allowing time for recovery. All of the benefits of your hard work and dedication are going to come in the rest period. I cannot stress this enough. It's one of the biggest reasons why I was able to really start dropping big chunks of time off my 5K to marathon race distances. I really started slowing down because I saw some of the world-class athletes that I was training with, guys from Kenya, Ethiopia, some great European athletes I trained with, and other great American athletes that would go out and just jog on the recovery days. And our hard days were extremely hard. I mean, I've done track sessions with Olympians. I've done fartlek workouts with 210 to 211 half marathon or marathon specialists, and guys that can run 101 to 102 for the half marathon, where we would do 1 hour fartleks where we would run 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy. And the 1 minute hard was anywhere from 4:35 to 4:55 mile pace, and our 1 minute easy was anywhere from 6 minute pace to 6 minutes and 30-second mile pace. So again, you have to allow yourself time to adapt to the training that you're putting in, but you have to get beyond quantity. If you're running too many miles on a consistent basis, yes, it's going to make you very strong endurance-wise, but you need to build up that stamina and that strength that comes from doing those really, really difficult VO2 max workouts. And I recommend doing one VO2 max workout per week. Do one harder long run 1 week, followed by one really easy, relaxed, just chilled out pace long run the following week. You can't just keep pushing the body and expecting a return on your investment. So make sure you're paying attention to what you're doing the hours after you get done with your workout. Are you hydrating well? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating, or are you drinking too much, empty or taking in too many empty calories in the form of sodas or candies? It's okay to, have fun. It's okay to enjoy yourself from time to time, but if you want to do well over 13.1 miles, that is some of the best advice I can give you, is stick to the basics. Make sure, write down what it is, what exact pace you want to hold over the 13.1 mile distance, and find out what you've been doing in the past that has caused you not to sustain that pace over the entire 13.1 mile distance, 21.1 kilometers. again, the reason why I wasn't improving earlier on in my career is because, again, I was focusing way too much on quantity, running real high mileage, but too low of a percentage of my weekly volume. I was running far too slow. And yes, I was able to hold the pace that I was wanting for a specific amount of miles over the 13.1 mile distance or even over the marathon distance, but I wasn't able to sustain it. So I stopped doing, just doing those long runs at 6:30 to 7-minute mile pace, and I started running faster faster paces over during the long run. One of my favorite workouts I would do is doing a 20 miler, running at 160 beats per minute, which was about 85% of my maximum heart rate. And every fourth mile of that 20 miler, I would drop a sub 5-minute mile right in the middle of it. About drop a 450, then at the fourth mile, and then the 8th mile, drop like between a 450 and a 455 mile. Mile 12, mile 16, and then mile 20. I would close it with a sub 5. So again, I was trying to sustain 5 minutes and 25 seconds for 26.2 miles. So I had to start doing some really difficult workouts and making some drastic changes in my training in order to get to a point where I went from 2 hours and 43 minutes for the marathon to 2 hours and 19 minutes for the marathon. And the same for the half marathon. Even when I ran 2:19:35, I hit the first half in 1:07:09, which is still to this day the second fastest half marathon I've ever run. You have to be able to, if you're training properly, you're spending time running very easy and then training very, very hard, like those VO2 max workouts. If you're training properly and you're focusing more on quality over quantity, you can take those big risks in the race sometimes. I knew I was ready. I believe in a 10-day taper rather than a 3-week taper, and I cover that in all of my running courses on RunDreamAchieve.com and my training programs. It's the same setup whether you're training for a 5K or the marathon distance. All of my training programs have a 10-day taper because I found that starting to drop your training 10 days out rather than 3 weeks out will create the best results. It will prevent you from not feeling as lethargic and tired as you would feel than, say, if you did a 3-week taper. And I've done 3-week tapers and they never really worked for me. I always set personal best on a 10-day taper. So I definitely recommend going to RunDreamAchieve.com if you want a new approach to your racing and your preparation leading into the late 2020 season into 2021. Highly recommend checking out the running courses. The running courses are much more in depth. They're more of a one-on-one coaching session with me. I have video tutorials in those courses, and then they all end in a 16-week plan of training, block of training for you, so you know exactly what you need to be doing day after day, week after, into each week and into each month. So there's no guessing. There's all the guesswork's taken out of it. And the exact same types of workouts I was doing when I ran 1:07:06 for the half and 2:19:35 for the marathon are the same type of workouts that are in the running courses and that are also in the training programs that I created. I know what it takes to run fast over that distance, and I know if you get beyond the tendency that I need to run more mileage to get better results, if you can just get past that and you start focusing more on quality and let go of the quantity, yes, you do need, depending on your goals, depending on what you're trying to go after, volume is still important. But you also got to keep in mind, if you're running too many of those weekly miles too slow, you're still not going to be able to race over the 13.1 mile distance or 21.1 kilometer distance sufficiently. So make sure you're paying attention to that, and know that I'm in your corner. There's a lot of resources on RunDreamAchieve.com. I'll leave some of those below this video. If you have a specific question, or if there's not something in this video that I didn't cover that you really want more specifics and more information about, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. Regardless of where you're at in the world, I know these programs and running courses work. I've had other athletes that have dropped significant amounts of time. Actually, I even had an athlete that dropped over an hour off his marathon time training, conducting his training with the training programs that I've created, and the running courses as well. I've had a lot of feedback from them. So I wish you guys all the best. I'm going to try to make more videos. The schedule has been a little bit little bit different with working from home, but I will definitely continue to provide content, and hopefully valuable content that's going to be really helpful for you leading into your late 2020 season and into 2021. And again, I really appreciate you guys stopping in. If you're brand new to the channel, my name is Nate Pennington. I'm the founder of RunDreamAchieve.com. Been competing for about 28 years, former member of the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program, 219 marathoner. I had a lot of ups and downs as well. I didn't just get to that time, but I know what it takes, and I know if you're an athlete that doesn't have a lot of talent like myself and you're relying on your work ethic, then you really do have to focus more on quality over quantity. You can't just, even if you're talented, if you don't work hard, you're going to get beat by somebody with less talent that's putting in the work every single day. So I wish you guys all the best, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.